Hello, I Divya Momaya, founder of Mentor My Board, welcome you all to this exclusive series by Free Press Journal in association with Mentor My Board on Grow with Governance. Let me take the opportunity to introduce why this series. Focus of the series is on the role of independent directors in the business growth and sustainability. Mentor My Board is a platform to groom, nurture, handhold promoters, independent directors, women leaders, and board aspirants. With a vision to create a community of 1 lakh directors by 2027, and has been providing a virtual platform to directors, mentors, and corporates. Free Press Journal is more than 9 decades old newspaper. Today, Free Press Journal has gone beyond just being a print medium, and it has a strong digital presence with large online subscribers for their e-paper. Free Press Journal has been quite active in the webinar space since lockdown, and even before lockdown, it was very actively involved in the policy level decisions. And this present initiative, organized today, is a part of Free Press Journal's ongoing strategy to create awareness on various policy level topics. And in this series, we have come with the second exclusive interview with Ms. Roma Balwani, Director, Brand Communication, Vedanta Group. Roma has been playing an important role today in India Inc. in various board capacities, and she has been contributing immensely to the evolution of board leaders today. And also, let me introduce our moderators for today. Bharti has been our eminent advisor to Mentor My Board, and she has 3 decades plus experience as insurance governance professional. And Jessica is principal correspondent, Free Press Journal. So over to you, Bharti and Jessica, for the session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Divya. Good morning, Roma, and wonderful
Good
warm
morning,
welcome to
Bharti.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yes, absolutely. You're loud and clear.
Thank you.
All right. So, first and foremost, we both would like to congratulate you on the Lifetime Achievement Award in Corporate Communications, Roma. Wonderful achievement. Such a privilege to have you here. Roma Balwani is a director and communications and of the brand of Group Vedanta. I would just like to read your wonderful profile if you'll permit me, Roma. Roma is the
Sure.
senior director, communications and brand of Vedanta Group. Roma is an independent director and board member of John Cockerell India and chairs the CSR board committee. She is also the chief mentor Jombay, a tech HR provider of products and services and a former brand advisor to NCML National Collateral Management Services. Roma supports disability sports, serves on the advisory board of Deaf Cricket Society, successfully handled the first edition of Deaf ICC World Cup T20 held between 23rd and 30th November 2018 in Gurgaon, Haryana, India. She has also spoken across the world on several subjects in Davos, US, Lithuania, Barcelona, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Pakistan. She lectures at leading business schools on brand communications, reputation management, digital strategy, and sustainable development goals. Roma has lived in a number of countries in Oslo, Norway, and has been a business consultant for ICT projects. She has also represented Aptech in Scandinavia. Is the communications director and advisor, eBookers Norway and AI SEC at Norway. She is also the recipient of several global awards and several accolades. Impressive profile, Roma. We are privileged to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharti. It's humbling to hear this, but thank you very much.
It's humbling for us to hear it because amazing achievements. So let us just kickstart this. We want to hear about your board experiences. You have actually been the driver of your career. You have moved up the hierarchy from being an employee and now you've become a board member. How has this helped you to bring a different perspective to the board's functions, and also a little bit about your experience to move on to the board, please?
So I think when I started this board journey, it happened accidentally at Mahindra. One of the companies which was actually supposed to close down was still a listed entity, and we had to have all the directors. So by rotation, I was brought in on that board of that company of Mahindra. What I learned over there was that experience of a lifetime, which I think I carried forward both in my journey as a professional and now as a board member. There, I learned all about how the regulatory framework of carrying on the board duties are allocated, how do you contribute as a board member, and how responsible you are to the stakeholders and the shareholders. So, I think that was my first learning. And to go through the regulatory process, I learned the value of ethics and governance there. Post graduation, and I grew up from the ranks in Larsen and Tubro. My first stint was as the executive assistant to the general manager, and that's where I learned the ropes of general management, whether it was finance, whether it was business, whether it was the softer aspects of business, which is CSR, and at that time, environment was a big thing that L&T was very focused on, and that was the learning days. I was very young at that time, inexperienced, but that really gave me the opportunity to understand the responsibility of an organization which is a large international organization. And I had the privilege of working with one of the best mentor and boss that I could have ever had. I think that shaped my career, shaped my value system, and I'm really indebted to Larsen and Tubro for giving me that platform at a very early age, at a young age, and also allowing me the opportunity to work in that capacity. So I think that entire process of learning at the corporate level, I mean, I had joined them from the ranks, and Mr. Hock Larsen, who was then the chairman of the company, heard me on a call, and he said, "What are you doing? Why do you have an administrative job?" I said, "I'm studying along with my, this job. I love to work also." And he was the one who told the organization to provide me the facility. And I continued my education from my undergraduate to my postgraduate along with Larsen and Tubro. And that gave me that supervisory role in Larsen and Tubro. So greatly indebted to my boss who has passed away, Mr. B.I. Bambani, who was the general manager. And I learned everything under his guidance. Moving from there, you look after your family, you have to see, you're a corporate wife, you're a mother. I took a certain break in my career for some time and then came back to my career again after a stint of 6 years of a break when my daughter was born. But during those 6 years, I learned a lot about creativity. I went into the creative space. I always had a mindset for that. So learned that of advertising, brand management, and there started the roots of this, excuse me, profile of being a brand manager. So these varied experiences, if you put them
Yes.
together, they are a melting pot for me to put them into my mind space to churn it out in a way that people can experience what I have learned, also share my experience and put it in the profession that I'm committed to. So I think that journey was very valuable for me. And I must say that I had many, many people in the network who possibly facilitated that for me. It's not just my boss. I used to learn from everything, right from my peon who used to be serving me a cup of tea, right up to my young assistant who used to teach me. I think when you learn, unlearn, relearn, that really gives you the wholesome approach to life as well as to your profession.
I just want to get a take on yours on the recent SEBI, regulations for independent directors, and vis-a-vis the reputation risk which a company faces, because you are a brand brand specialist and a corporate communications specialist. So vis-a-vis a reputation risk, because nowadays we are all on social media, all the companies on social media, people are checking before you order anything, even on a platform which is not retail, it's a B2B also. They check the ratings. If it's a 4.2 or a 4.5, I'll go for a 4.5, even though it's a little costlier, because I have this thing on other customers reviews. So reputation risk is a very huge risk which is not yet looked into by a number of our younger MSMEs and directors of smaller corporates. Your perspective on that vis-a-vis the new SEBI regulations for independent directors?
So I think if you look at both the aspects, the new regulation for the board directors gives them a lot of responsibility. At the same time, they need to balance it with what the reputation of the organization that they are on the board of. I think that fine balance has to be maintained. So even when you choose your organization or you're invited to be on the board of your organization, all the things that you said, you evaluate that before you even join that board, right? And for women professionals, all the more reason that you should be extremely discerning when you're invited to a board. You're a professional in your own right. You have a reputation that you built. Your personal brand has got a credibility. You cannot discount that. So when you also
Correct.
become part of a board, you're bringing your own brand, you're bringing your own reputation, you're bringing your own credibility, apart from the experience that you bring to the board. So I think these are various aspects you have to consider for young professionals if they even decide to take on a board responsibility, because they have to be very clear on how that board is constructed, who are the members of that board, what is the reputation of that organization, how does it stand in good stead in terms of ethics, governance, and the compliance and the regulatory framework. I think those are very, very important aspects that people should learn about, should be aware about, because reputational risk, as you said, can either make or break an organization.
Governance is generally seen as a hindrance to company and its growth. But it's generally the board members who steer the whole direction to the whole this. So how do you see going forward? How can governance be used better? And what would you advise to those companies be who try to like to find an easy way out without really giving governance that much of importance?
You know, the old saying is that there's no free lunch, right? And for that you have to really work towards the ethics of an organization, and the code of conduct is very, very important to align to. If every person within the organization understands the code of conduct, that is the starting point of making sure that it doesn't lie only at the board level, it is cascaded down right till the last person in that organization. That is how you create that governance structure. The governance structure has two elements to it. One is the financial governance structure, the other is the non financial governance structure. Both are equally important, and both have to be cascaded with various walking the talk, which the leadership has to do. Otherwise, we will never be able to create that credibility, as you rightly said, about reputation and the brand. The risk that you have and the mitigation of that risk, when you look at business, you look at short term goals of a business, you look at long term goals of a business. So these are all facets of every organization has to focus on, and governance becomes the basic level where people have to be very clear that it is non-negotiable. If it is
Yes.
non-negotiable in an organization, then it carries the weight, and it carries the importance and the relevance across the organization. I think that's what I think is very, very critical in today's day and age. Because, see, as you rightly said, social media is there. People can be pot shot at, people can break your reputation, people can mar your reputation. So, building your brand becomes very, very important as you go along in the journey of creating an organization right from a startup to getting into becoming a unicorn and then becoming a listed company. When you're going through the motions of that journey, it actually reminds me of a leadership value that I always believe in, that it is not where your destination is, it is who uh, travels with you in that destination. Who are those
Wonderful.
people who will ride that leadership journey, bus journey with you, and who will drop off at the right time. So people who have the right values and have the right business acumen and can marry both without compromising on reputation or on ethics or on governance, I think they are the ones who will create that organization of repute. And that is very important.
just wanted to get your perspective on how you think things have changed over years. I'm sure you must have seen, things in India, in Indian companies improving or changing, or for better or worse. So if you could just, throw a little light on that experience.
So my experience at John Cockerell really gave me the insight of how business are run internationally, how stakeholders are impacting your business either visibly or invisibly. They impact your business both ways. And the fact that you go out into the international market, see what are the best practices. In fact, we are invited every other year pre-pandemic to attend the strategy meeting of the company, which is the parent company, while we are the board members of the Indian company. Now, there it gives you an insight of a global organization where there are people who are presenting to you the best practices which are being practiced. It could be in China, it could be in Europe, it could be in US, because the footprint is so large. You bring that back into your Indian operations, you learn from there, and especially when your board proceedings have all these expat members on the board. Like for John Cockerell, the chairman comes from the main parent company based out of Belgium. One of the finance directors from there is also on the board of from the company side. Aside from that, there is a business and a technical head from John Cockerell, the parent company. So when you come to such a well-rounded board, you get so much of insight and learning, and you in turn show them what India and the economy of India, the democracy of India, the cultural fabric of this company, how employees have to be treated in this company in an Indian scenario. I think marrying both is very relevant, and that's how you create a whole mind approach to the business, which is based out of India, but you're bringing in all the international flavors into that business proposition, and also you have the brand value of the parent company.
We just want to ask you that what would be the piece of advice which you would like to give to mentor my boards, directors, aspiring directors, and basically what you feel that not only the young ones, so ones who are already there on board, how they can better contribute. And what is that one piece of advice which you feel that they must have a takeaway? And I would really love for you to concentrate on your specialty because you are a reputation, specialist for corporates, and that is very important in this day and age.
Director on the board, the mentoring that I did with the key personnel who come and present to us is to make them understand that you should not be wary about the change. You should not be wary about the new things you learn from your international partners. What you should be telling them is how you understand the Indian customer, what are the ways to address that Indian customer, and how you can bring the international expertise. So I think these are nuances which has helped me to bring that company to change their way, the way they're looking at CSR. For example, when the pandemic happened, we were concentrating on various aspects of CSR, which is to do with education, to look at some infrastructure. I told them that now you have to relook at your CSR activity. It's pandemic time. First thing first, get your employees, families vaccinated. Put
Wonderful.
your budgets aside for that. Then look at how you can help the hospitals and the nearby surroundings. What is their need of the hour? What is it that you need to contribute? Also look at the need for oxygen. When we started having those deliberations at the board level, we had to redesign and recraft the entire CSR proposition for the coming year. And that
Okay.
agility and seeing what the surrounding offers to you has to be very, very clear in the minds not only of the company but also the board to give that direction. So I think these are important elements that the board brings to the table, and they bring it in a form that is adapted, yet it is empowering them to become a better organization. You have to empower them to then, get that short term goal or long term goal realized in the best manner they can do so. So the board can give that strategic oversight, give them what the risks are, what are the ring fencing that regulatory norms give you, what are the ethics and governance that you have to follow, but at the same time empower them where you're motivating the employees, because without human resource there's no heart and soul in an organization.
Do you think ESG has been able to simplify your role in CSR, because there is a lot of more awareness about, there is a lot of more awareness about social and, environmental issues now. So do you think that has simplified your task in
I think
CSR?
it's not really simplified the task, because it is something that you have to demystify right now for your CSR teams. The
Okay.
CSR teams look at it, let's say for a natural resources company like Vedanta, they look at it more as a social license to operate. And in the social license to operate, they have to see education, they have to see employment, they have to see stakeholder issues that they face, because they are employing most of the people from the community. Now, when you come to ESG, there is a G for it, there is an E over there. They understand the S of it. They don't really marry the G and the E together with it. So I think what is important is that the main pillar of social performance. In fact, at Vedanta, we are carrying out a very big project on social performance and defining in a pilot project in one of the interiors of Odisha, where there is a lot of tribals, and how social performance is very key to make sure that the business also runs in harmony with the community. So, social performance is another step forward to understand the impact of CSR. What ESG does is helps them create a measurable tool, like you say the Indian MSCI rating or the index that we have for ESG. What does that really provide us? That provides us the tools to measure what is it that we do in terms of impact on environment. How do we create the governance structure, both financial and non-financial? And today the whole CSR bit comes under the social performance attribute. So I think it is going to be a journey, because today the ESG is not just a buzzword. Right now, people talk about lowering carbon footprint. People talk about the Paris Agreement. People talk about everything so that they are seen as ticking the box. As of now, it has to move from that ticking the box to package what they have done under these three pillars, which is environment, social, and governance, and then project it to your socially relevant investors and stakeholders. A board drives that whole proposition. The board makes them understand why it is so important a tenet of business. Earlier, it was possibly seen as social responsibility or a global social responsibility. International companies saw it in that context. But today, ESG will be actually the umbrella for CSR.
So I just wanted to know your journey during COVID.
The good part was at Vedanta, we always worked in a virtual surrounding. We had far flung areas, the assets were based. So for us, telepresence was the way of working. So being in that kind of environment already, we were familiar with working out of the office, but at a distance through telepresence. We had the best systems of technology in our office in Bombay. But then it had to all be brought into your home, and then the blur happens between your personal and official life. So you have to understand that these were the days where the organization was going through its own turmoil. We are in the essential services. We had to take care of our people at the same time, also allow some of the production to continue. So I think we completely changed ourselves into becoming from, let's say, an old economy company which looks at actually digging and getting doing the mining, to become a much tech savvier company. And I must give credit to Mr. Anil Agarwal, the chairman, who first said business will come later, saving lives will come first. Let us first save lives. Let us do everything to save lives. And that is what we really concentrated on. And that's how, in terms of our communication, we looked at compassionate communication. We looked at doing things on the ground so that we could create a safety net for our people. At the same time, our tech experts looked at bringing in technology, disruptive technology, to aid the organization's productivity and to help the people that they stay safe. Yet 80% of productivity happened with 20% of people on the ground, so that we could safeguard the rest. I think these were learnings for us during the COVID times. We went out right from looking after animals on the road to migrant workers, and not just our employees and families. We also went forward to understand the mental health that got impacted, got a 24 by 7 helpline to help them. So all these were very important in the first phase. In the second phase, when we were just seeing and we had very low fatalities, that was a saving grace. In the second phase, we noticed that vaccination is a key thing. So we concentrated on getting all our people, over 1 lakh people. It's still going on. By end August, we'll complete the whole exercise of all our employees, which are almost about 20,000, and 80,000 are our extended families and business partners. We want to cover them. So the uh, focus was on creating awareness on vaccination, getting all everybody vaccinated. At the same time, we said, how do we help the government? And that, because we believe in nation building, we believe in giving back. So we went one step forward to create the most amazing state of the art field hospitals, because the government hospitals, district hospitals, could not manage the COVID patients. They could not manage to give them the oxygen. They could not manage to give them the best of services, which are very very specialized, with ventilators and
Totally.
those kind of beds. So I think all that resulted in us being very focused, and I think time just flew. You probably worked longer hours, but you also worked with a dedication that you are saving lives, at the same time helping the nation to give them the products that they need. Essential services have to perform in whichever way that they can contribute to the economy. I think that was well appreciated.
Timely. And exactly, I'm so happy at the way you all are doing. You said empathy, you talked about employee health and safety, and wonderful insights. Director is all about empathy also, understanding that, we should not exploit the environment. So wonderful talking
Absolutely.
to you, Roma. I'm so sorry, but I need to step out now. Thank you so much. Amazing talking to you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and
Yeah,
it was very
Divya
inspiring
would
to
like to
hear
speak to
you.
you. So
Thank
I'd be
you.
like to leave now. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye,
Bhavani.
Roma. And
Thank you.
congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Roma, for wonderful insights, and listening to you on so many different perspectives was really, really insightful. So over to you, Jessilia, for the closing remarks, and yeah, over to you. So thank you, Roma, for being here with us.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, Divya.
Thank you, Ms. Roma, for being a part of this session that Prepress and Momentum at Board is organizing. It was really insightful to hear your thoughts and how things are moving in the board. So I would like to highlight few points that you brought about. The first one was to learn, unlearn, and learn again, which makes more sense at this point of time during COVID, where a lot of disruptions happen and people had to relearn and learn and again learn things, which has now become part of life. And also the point where you said it's not about your destination, but with who you travel is much more important. So I think that is something we would like to take away from this discussion as well. Another thing you pointed out about ESG, as ESG will be under the umbrella of CSR, how CSR and ESG would be going along uh, together. So I thank you again for giving us this opportunity. And also I would like to say this session is a part of series that Press Journal and Mentor My Board is organizing, and we would be publishing this session in a print edition and also we would be airing this in our YouTube channel pretty soon. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Jasila. Thank you so much, Divya, for giving me this
Thank you.
opportunity. This is a wonderful occasion to connect with a larger audience through Mentor My Board and through Free Press Journal. So, my thanks to both of you.